What is going on, guys? I'm Charmeleon and this is a thank you to my followers because I recently hit 1500, and I get a lot of questions asking how I make GIFs, and I never go into that much detail because it's hard to explain through typing. So this video is going to be me showing you how I make them, and I'm going to make one from scratch. So this is one I just finished. The two things you're going to need are the KM player, which is my media player, and Photoshop, obviously. I use CS5. You guys can use CS6 or CS4. It's pretty similar. I'm not going to show you where to get it, but you know, you're smart. You're on the internet. You could figure it out. If you need any help, send me a message on Tumblr, and I'll see what I can do for you. So yeah, the first thing you're going to do after you download these two things is find the best quality video you can. Whatever GIF you want to make, you're going to want it to be at least in 720p, preferably 1080. The better the video you get, the better the GIF you make will look. So once you do that, you load your video into the KM player, press Ctrl G, and you're going to get this menu right here. These are the settings you're going to want to use. If you can't see it, don't worry. I'll have a link in the description to a picture of my settings so you can see it better. And that way you don't have to remember and keep checking this. You can just keep the picture for yourself. A few things to remember are the numbers to extract. You're going to want it on continuously. You're going to want the format to be PNG. And it's best to do every two frames. Every 3 frames works as well, but sometimes the GIF will be a little choppy if you do that. So once you find the spot you're going to GIF, you're going to press start, and then you're going to press play on the video. Clearly I'm making a GIF of Beyond Mega using Silverwind, and when you're done, just press stop, and you can pause your video. And what's going to happen is you're going to press open right here, and the capture folder will open, and you'll see all the frames I have in here to make with. And you'll see I started a little early, right before it started, so I can make sure I get the whole thing in there. You're going to select all your frames that you want. I have 49 here. And what I do is I copy them, and I put them in a new, that's not it, and I put them in a new folder. And I do that so I can take out the extra frames I don't need. You're never going to want more than 20 frames for your GIF, because Tumblr will have problems with it, and you'll have a hard time making the file small enough. So what I did was I deleted every other photo in here, and I had about 26 frames left, so I deleted another 8 that looked very similar to each other. So I got it down to 18. And then what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to open Photoshop, and go to New. Here's everything I use. The size I'm going to use is 500 by 360. I think that works best with Pokemon photos. If you're doing something else, you just have to experiment. The GIF you just saw me make right here is 500 by 300, so it's just a little different for each video. You'll just have to figure it out. You're going to select all your frames. You're going to drag them here. Now you'll see there's a little white space right here, so you'll just stretch the photo and then press enter. And you're going to do this for every single frame. So you're not going to watch me do this because that would just be time consuming and you clearly get the picture. So I'm just going to hit cancel, continue placing, because I have them right here already. And what you're going to do next, if you don't have this animation menu right here, I think the way you get that is you go to Window, you click Animation, and it should pop up. Next you're going to hit Make Frames from Layers, and you're going to delete this first white background if you get it. I didn't used to, but now it does that. I don't know if I changed something accidentally, but yeah. So you should be fine after that. Now you're going to see this window here with all your frames, and you're going to select them all and hit Rasterize, because that'll make you be able to edit them, and yeah, pretty much that. So you're going to go to this animation window, and you're going to select the speed that your GIF plays on. I'm probably going to use 0.12 for this. Usually the more frames you have, the slower you go, and the less frames, you go faster. So here you can see it looks a little choppy. So you can kind of tell where that happens by seeing things like this. like clearly this is the same, just a little different, so you'll just get rid of one. So you click on it there, and you'll see that there's an eye right here. That shows you which frame it is. So you just delete it here, and then you press play again, and you can see it does it again right here. Somewhere right here. Yep, right here. Oops, don't drag that. So you're going to delete this one again, and that'll bring us down to 16, which is a pretty good number. I like GIFs with 10 to 14 frames. They work best, but a little more than that is okay too. There you go. Okay, so I'm pleased with how this looks. The animation looks nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this right here. You can also do this from image. No, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to tell you, but yeah. So you'll click this, make sure you're at the top frame in your set, and you'll go to curves, and I like to make mine a little brighter, because I think it'll look nice, and it also lowers the file size. What you can do next is you can add vibrance, and I usually go to about 30, and in between 2 to 5 for the saturation. And never add too much saturation, because Tumblr has a really hard time uploading photos and uploading GIFs especially, so keep that lower. And if the GIF's already too bright, too saturated, you can always just lower it there and go into the negative numbers, and that'll help a lot. So for this GIF, all I'm going to do after I do this is add my watermark, which you click this text button right here, find a font you like, drag it to the corner, highlight it, go to opacity, and I usually drop it to about 20% or a little lower. So it's there for me to see, and it doesn't really matter for others. I just like them for me personally, so I can recognize my GIF opposed to somebody else's. What you're going to do after that, you're going to save, obviously. I'm going to save it as Jan Mega. And then you're going to go to Save for Web and Devices. Make sure GIF is clicked up here. Yeah, I use Quality Nearest Neighbor. I usually use Adaptive and Diffusion. You can mess with these. It changes the way the GIF looks. It changes the size. That just lowered the size a little bit, so I'm going to keep that, and it still looks fine. Pattern made it a little bigger. See, if I change it to no dither, what you can see is everything gets a little blurry and makes the GIF size nice, but it doesn't look right anymore. So find the best one for your particular GIF, because they're all different. They're always going to be different. I like Diffusion for this one best. So what you can see is my GIF is 1.395 megabytes, and that's way too big. You're going to want to keep it under 1. And the fastest way to do that is click this up here and go to Optimize the File Size, and you'll type in 1023, and it'll do all the work for you, and it'll take it as close to that size as it can get. But what you can see is it took a lot of my colors away. I went from 91 to 256. So the GIF still looks okay, but it doesn't look as good as it should. So I'm going to pause the video right here, and when I finish making it look nice again, I'll let you know what I did and how you can do that too. So, alright. So, sorry for that. What I did for this, as you can see, nothing's changed since I unpaused it. I switched back. I messed with lossy right here. On some GIFs, it'll make you be able to have a lot of colors and keep the size what you want. That way you don't have to squish the picture or make it seem weird or anything like that. But what you can see it does, if I turn it up a lot, is it gets a little grainy. So I found the first number that made it under 1 megabyte, and stuck with that. And make sure you always have standard RGB right here, because that's important. After you get your GIF to where you want to save it, where you think it's going to be the the best looking, go ahead and save it. And there you can see a lot of my other GIS. Go ahead and save it. And if you go back to this menu, you'll see you have a preview button, so you can preview it on your browser if you would like to do that. After it's all saved, that's pretty much all you have to do. But to end this video, I'll give you guys a few little tips that you can use to make sure your GIS upload, other than the ways I just showed you. Try to stay away from colors like magenta, fuchsia, and cyan, and purple like this, because Tumblr, for whatever reason, has a problem with that. And you know what? Actually, I don't like this first frame. I don't like that it's half of his face only, so I'm going to actually delete that. And I'll go through the saving process off camera so you guys don't have to see that again. So I'll just let this play. Okay, yeah, I like that. So once you're done, yeah, avoid those colors, and let's see. That's all I can think of right now to give you guys tips. So if you have any other questions, if you decide to make some GIS, just shoot me a message on Tumblr. The link will be in the YouTube video. And I'll do my best to help you out. Not that I'm an expert or anything, but, you know, I've learned a few things. So once again, thank you all for 1,500 followers. And hopefully you guys try to make some GIS. And I look forward to seeing them. Talk to you later.